Good afternoon, folks. In today's video, we're going to be covering the latest Detroit Lions news and a little bit of rumors here. Alex Anzalone, Dan Campbell speaks about his absence. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, Alex Anzalone is a big cog to the Detroit Lions defense. Zadarius Smith names comes up at another team. We'll talk about what that means. Lions roster ranking per NFL.com. Where is the Lions roster ranked for the rest of the NFL? We'll give you that number there. Von Miller, should the Lions sign Von Miller? He's a free agent. And Lions being urged to sign a guard? We'll talk about that in this video. But before we get into today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Why is that? Because we talk Lions news and rumors, and we want St. Brown to bone the NFC North. Let's get today's video started. Let's go ahead and talk about Dan Campbell speaking to the media about Alex Anzalone. He says, I think that's great in any player that I'll talk to. I have a relationship with, and there's an open line of communication, Campbell said. What I ever say to those players, I'm not going to say to the media, never will. But their communication has been great, so I am not worried about anything. I know this. We're in late May, and it's even June yet. We're not even in June, so life's good, man. We're going to be fine. He continued on. We only have two guys that are not here right now, Campbell said. I know who they are. I know who they are at, and I've talked to them. We're all good. Folks, a lot of people are concerned about Alex Anzalone. Is he wanting a new contract, and he's not at the OTAs right now? You have zero to worry about. Zero. Of all the players, this is the last one. Trust me, he will be there for week one, no matter what. You're going to see Alex Anzalone, nothing to fear. I have no doubt the Lions will take care of him. He'll be good to go for training camp and everything. This is voluntary workouts for these OTAs. You don't need everybody there. Alex Anzalone, of all the players, is exactly what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes like in this team. He'll be taken care of. Zero to worry about. I would never put that out there unless I truly believed it. Do not worry about Alex Anzalone. He'll be good to go for this season. Just don't worry. I know a lot of people are a little bit worried. I've seen the comments. I've hitting up on Facebook. Don't be freaking too worried about that one. But what you can do is hit that like button. Let's get to, 300 likes. It does really help the channel out. It's not BS. Next article. There is teams that potentially could be looking for Zadarius Smith. SI.com says Smith's best days are behind him, but he has proved last season with the Detroit Lions that he's still capable of being a reliable rotational player for a Super Bowl contender, writes Gilberto Manzo. The Bills have already added Joey Bosa, but he has struggled to stay healthy in recent season, recently injured his calf. Even if Bosa stays healthy when the season arrives, Buffalo still needs depth behind the number one edge rusher, Gregory Rousseau. Smith, who's entering his age 33 season, has 69 career sacks in 10 NFL seasons. There's other teams that's going to be looking at Zadarius Smith. Why wouldn't they? 100%. But look, what the Lions are doing right now with these free agents, of whether they're signing them or not, and same with the free agents, other NFL teams are doing the exact same thing. So they're all assessing the roster. They're all getting prepped for NFL training camp. So is it possible another team, like the Buffalo Bills in this case, were to sign Zadarius Smith? 100%. And especially when we get closer to training camp and as training camp really hits, too. You can see some movement really going on. But right now, there's a lot of standstill for a lot of teams, a lot of players, and all of that stuff. So, yes, other teams 100% could sign Zadarius Smith, and that is a worrisome if you're a fan and you want him to be back. Is you don't want him to be taken by another team. So, but again, all other clubs are doing the same thing that the Lions are doing. NFL.com talking about the Lions roster in talent. Where do they rank him? This says, one of the Lions' biggest offseason challenges was implementing two new coordinators after Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn earned head coaching jobs. Helping the matter, the talent in Detroit remains very strong. General Manager Brad Holmes has built one of the best rosters in the league. Jared Goff followed up maybe his finest regular season with a disastrous playoff performance in the loss for the Commanders, but he's made it to the Pro Bowl in the two of the past 3 seasons. The bulk of his Excellent offensive line, long play with Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, who make arguably the league's best 1-2 punch. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, and Gibbs are strong top 4 targets. And with rookie Isaac Tesla waiting in the wings, even with Johnson gone, this offense is going to hum. Still should hum. So where's the ranking that they have, Lions roster, compared to the rest of the NFL? Well, their ranking is number 3. That is where they rank the Detroit Lions roster, and there's only 2 teams ahead of them, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. They're both squads got a lot of talent. I think this is a decent spot, right? You can mix up some of these teams up and down, but the Lions are extremely talented. So when Rob Parker or anybody tells you that their window is open, it's absolute horse crap, okay? This team is loaded, and they're loaded for a long time. So, we can debate, will they make it to Super Bowl, all this, that, and the other. Okay, but this team is extremely talented, and it's going to be a contender for years because it's a good team. It is a good team, regardless of what, some in the media may think. It's a good football team. It sure is. All right, folks, go ahead and like that video. Let's get to 300 likes. The next part of this video is the folks at CBS Sports saying that the Lions should be urged to sign Von Miller. This is if you take one look at the Lions schedule, and you'll see why adding Miller might help rights breach. During the 2025 season, Detroit will be facing Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, and Dak Prescott. If you're facing a gauntlet like that, you need pass rushers. And the Lions have to add Aiden Hutchinson. They have much of outside of that. Last season, the Lions pass rush absolutely disappeared after Hutchinson suffered a season-ending injury that saw him break his tibia and fibula. The Lions are being told to, pass rush has been something that we have been talking about freaking forever. And Von Miller is on the market. Now, look, he's old. He's 36 years old, 13 solo, 6 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. He would be a situational pass rusher here, clearly, right? He's not going to be the main one. He would be in rotation opposite of Aiden Hutchinson with Davenport, Pascal. Look, I want the Lions to get another edge rusher, another pass rusher, another body that they can rely upon for the 2025 season. Now, as you know, I've said it on here many times, I have a preference. Zadarius Smith would be up there, right, is the number 1 option right now with the free agent market. Matthew Judon, you go down the list. But if we don't get some of these guys, I wouldn't have a problem with adding a Von Miller to the Lions' depth. He wouldn't be a starter, but he would be a rotational. Do I think the Lions going to do that? No, I don't. I 110% believe what Brad Holmes has said about this roster, and I don't think he's going to bring a Von Miller in. They truly do believe that they have the depth at edge, and I believe that they believe that they have that position. So why, if they truly do believe that, would they go out and get an aging pass rusher in Von Miller because they believe, the injuries and blah, 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 blah. But my thing, when I look at this situation, is a little bit different from the Lions organization. They trust Marcus Davenport, and I do not trust Marcus Davenport. Not his ability, but him to stay on the field. That's what I do not trust. They trust it. So since someone like me who doesn't trust it, of course I want another pass rusher. I want another player in there as injuries are going to mount. But the Lions organization, they believe that they can count on Davenport, and they believe he's going to play. So they don't think that adding another pass rusher makes sense to them. It really just depends what side of the coin you're on. I'm just on, I would like to have another one. Maybe you're different. The Lions organization thinks differently, and clearly Brad Holmes is better of a general manager than I could even possibly think to ever be. He's way smarter than I am, times a million. So I got a question for you. Would you sign Von Miller? What do you think? You know, if that's an option, if it's not high paid, would you do it? S for sign, P for pass. Next here, we have Devin Platana saying from Detroit City's Jock City that the Lions should sign this player here. With the uncertainty of Detroit Jock City's, Devin Platana thinks that the Lions should target a veteran free agent at this position, the guard position. In a recent article, Platana encouraged that Lions to pursue former Arizona Cardinals guard Will Henderson. The Lions aren't entirely sold on their guard options. Hernandez would be worth a look. No. Makes not really much sense for the Lions to sign a guard. I got to keep it a buck right now. This is the most established position on this football team is the offensive line. It is stacked, specifically guard. Graham Glasgow, Tate Ratledge, Miles Frazier, K.U.D.U.C., Colby Sorsdale plays tackle and guard. Okay, this thing is Christian Mahogany. This thing is stacked. If you bring in a Will Hernandez, who in the heck are you going to let go? We already know Sorsdale's probably gone. You just re-sign K.U.D.U.C. What are you going to do? Release him after you just sign him? So that doesn't make any sense. Of all the positions the Lions need to get better at, guard is the last position I would look at. The absolute last. So I don't think that the Lions will pursue Hernandez, and I don't think that they should, nor even need to even think about that position right now, unless injuries start to mount up in practices. Right now, that's not the case. We are freaking fully stacked like pancakes at the guard position. So give me your thoughts about today's Lions articles and news in the comments. With that said, folks, adios.